Alright, we are here in beautiful sunny Florida, and today, people, is the second episode of the Hardcore's Delight. Of course, doing this monthly little thing. If you didn't see the first episode, basically what this series is it's going to be monthly. At the beginning of the month, I'm just going to be digging into all the regional stuff for the month I'm going to be recording for this month, of course, February. And basically, I'm going to be focusing on one major event, non-UFC event for the month. Just whatever one I decide to choose. It's kind of random, whatever one I feel like talking about. Then I briefly go over all of the notable regional events in the month of February, of course, for this episode. And then at the end, I will talk about recent UFC signings and just what to look for, what guys to look out for, what guys aren't really that great. But yeah, man. Anything to get into? Yeah, man. I've fucking you guys have been coming through with subscribers, man. It is crazy. I think I gained like 50 subscribers in the last like 10 days or so. So big thanks to you guys. My viewerships went up like crazy, and we're coming off a UFC Houston. I did profit 0.58 units, so it wasn't really the best week. I mean, a profit's a profit. It is what it is. But yeah, man, just a shameless little plug here. I am going to be doing my UFC 208 breakdown with the same guys I did the Denver breakdown with. It's going to be Rockstar Z, the MMA Prophet, and myself. So look out for that on Wednesday night. Going to be lots and lots of fun. But getting into this, man, I am going to be featuring Bellator 172 Fedor versus Mitrione in this episode. And man, I'm only going to be talking about what is it, 5 fights here, just the 4 from the main card and 1 from the prelims. The prelims on this card really, really are bad, and even the main card is just, it doesn't intrigue me a whole lot. I mean, the main event is awesome. We got Fedor, Matt Mitrione, that's, fireworks, but I'm not really excited about a whole lot of this stuff. There is a prelim fight I am kind of excited for, but that's about it. But getting into the Bellator 172 to break down, man. The only prelim fight I do want to talk about, we got Anatoly Tokov, 24 and 3, taking on Francisco France, 13 and 4 at 185 pounds. So here we go, man. This is a really good and really the only good fight on the prelims of this card. Anatoly Tokov is an absolute savage, man. He just won the ACB Absolute Championship middleweight tournament this past year. He's a very good striker. 24 and 3. That's just a legit ass record. And this dude's still somewhat young too. He's 26 years old. He did just lose his last fight. Very tough dude he lost to, but like I said, Tokov's still young. I expect some big things from him. I mean, Bellator's 185 division is so shallow. I expect him to just rise the ranks and get close to a title shot almost immediately. Now, Francisco France on the other side, he is a grappler fighting out of Power MMA with Bader and Dalloway and those guys. So, fun stylistical matchup here, man. Striker versus grappler, but I love Tokov's chances to just stuff takedowns and just absolutely blast France on the feet. I think either way, we're going to see a finish here. If Tokov keeps it standing, he's knocking the dude out. But if France can get it down, I love his chances to submit Tokov. But my official pick here is going to be Anatoly Tokov via a second round TKO. And now moving on to the 4 fight main card here, man. Man, we got Josh Koscheck, 17 and 10, taking on Mauricio Alonso, 12 and 7 in a welterweight bout. I'm not really gonna talk about this fight a whole lot. This fight's really kind of a joke. I can't believe Josh Koscheck is still fighting. I mean, he's lost 5 in a row now. This is his first fight in 2 years. His chin's gone. He's slow. He's just so shot now. And this dude he's fighting, he's a striker who, if he can stuff Josh Koscheck's takedowns, Josh Koscheck is just going to be in some serious trouble on the feet, and we're going to see some more damage to this guy, which I'm not really happy about. However, this dude Mauricio is not very good at all. They gave Josh Koscheck just the perfect matchup for him, man. A striker who can't defend takedowns. So, I don't see this Mauricio Alonso dude. I watched a couple fights on him. I don't see him being able to stuff Josh Koscheck's takedowns at all. So, this is with very little confidence. But my official pick is just going to be a Josh Koscheck via 30-27 decision. Moving on here. Got Czech Kongo 25-10 taking on Ollie Thompson 17-9 in a heavyweight bout. So first of the heavyweight fights here, man, and between two former UFC fighters. And I gotta say, maybe this fight has some potential for violence, but I think it's pretty damn simple, man. I think we're just going to see a Czech Kongo wrestle fest. Ollie Thompson, he's a guy with big power, decent boxing, but virtually no takedown defense. This one's simple to me, man. Not much to say here. Czech Kongo is just going to continuously take Ollie Thompson down and grind him out in just an insanely boring fight. Or Ollie Thompson could stuff those takedowns. You never know. And then we get a very close striking match where Kongo probably has the better, more technical striking, but Ollie Thompson, he packs bombs, man. So if he knocks out Czech Kongo, I wouldn't be completely shocked. But my official pick is a Czech Kongo 30-27 decision. I just think, Czech Kongo, he's got decent wrestling, man. And Ollie Thompson, virtually no takedown defense. Pretty simple to me. It is heavyweights. You never know what can happen, but Czech Kongo is the pick, and if the price is right, I am going to look to parlay him up with something later in the card. Of course, there's only odds out for one fight at the moment, and that is the main event. But we'll be talking about after this fight. This fight is awesome, man. We got Josh Thompson, 22-8, taking on Patricky Frede. Pitbull, 16-8, 155 pounds, co-main event of the evening. So I like this fight, man. Probably just the highest level, most technical fight on the card. You haven't seen Josh Thompson in quite a while. He's been gone about 14 months now, and Patricky, he's coming off that brutal KO loss to Michael Chandler a few months ago. So this fight is just full of question marks, and I actually think it's great matchmaking, man. I'm pumped to see how this goes, but how I think this goes, I think Josh Thompson is just going to utilize his wrestling and make this a grinding affair and just avoid the big power of Patricky. Thompson's got some great striking of his own, but I just think he's not going to want to take that risk against Patricky, who just packs bombs. Josh Thompson, very smart fighter, very seasoned. He knows what he's doing in there, and Patricky, he's been susceptible to takedowns before, man. I was surprised that Michael Chandler went in there and struck with Patricky Pitbull, but Chandler just KO'd him. So you never know, man. This is crazy. Bellator, you never know what's gonna happen in Bellator. Bellator is just so crazy. But my official pick is gonna be a Josh Thompson 30-27 decision, but not a whole lot of confidence going into that. Josh Thompson, he is aging. There is that 14-month layoff. I do believe Patricky is probably the hungrier fighter, so not an easy one for me, man, but I am going to go Josh Thompson via a 30-27 decision. And moving on to the main event here, man, we got Fedor Emelianenko, 36-4, taking on Matt Meathead Mitrione, 11-5 in a heavyweight bout. So crazy, crazy fight here, man. I can't believe Fedor is still fighting, and Mitrione, hands down, is by far the best fighter he's fought since coming back. Both these guys, they got big power. They both move well for the division. Both guys have questionable chins at this point. Um, Obviously, we saw Fedor getting knocked down all over the place by Fabio Maldonado. We saw Matt Mitrione getting dropped by Carl Stangumanatafa. Just both these guys, they both hit and they both get hit. So craziness. This is just awesome matchmaking here. I love this fight. But honestly, man, there's not a whole lot to break down here. I think someone is getting hit hard in the first couple minutes, and they are not going to get back up. This has first round KO written all over it. Um, I think maybe Fedor could utilize takedowns, but I like Mitrione's chances to stuff them. I think I'm pretty sure he's the much bigger guy. We'll see when weigh-ins come around. This fight, I didn't even mention this card is Saturday, February 18th. So it's not this coming Saturday, but it's the Saturday afterwards. But man, so my pick here, I am gonna go with Matt Mitrione. I just think he's been the more active fighter, fighting better guys, hits a little harder, his chin is slightly better. I just can't get over that beating that Fedor took from Fabio Maldonado out of my head. I really can't. So my official pick is Mitrione via a first round KO. Betting wise for this fight, let me see what the odds are up to here, man. I do have 1.35 units on Matt Mitrione at minus 135 to win 1 unit. I wasn't going to put more in Mitrione, but it's still heavyweight. He can get hit. This is Fedor, man, the greatest heavyweight of all time. You really never know. So we got Matt Mitrione minus 160, Fedor plus 140 at the moment. So I did luck out with that very good line there. We'll see what happens. And also, I'm going to be looking at what I mentioned earlier that I did want to parlay. The under 1.5 rounds is currently sitting at minus 170. So based on my other picks on the card, what I'm confident in, I probably am going to be looking at parlaying the under in this fight with Czech Kongo, considering depending on the line of Czech Kongo. If Czech Kongo is like a minus 300, I'm just not going to do it. We'll see what happens, man. Either way, it is what it is. So yeah, man, Matt Mitrione is. He is my pick by first round KO with somewhat confidence there. But yeah, man, that's going to do it for Bellator 172. Moving on here to the notable regional events. Just going to be briefly talking about some of these events and briefly talking about some of the significant fights on the card. So first up, man, we do got one championship, Throne of Tigers. I love their names. One championship. They come up with the best names for the events. It's awesome, man. But that is going to be Friday, February 10th, this Friday at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Really, the only notable fight on this card is Ev Tang, who's one of their more well-known fighters, taking on Kamal Shalarus, who is, of course, a former UFC fighter. I don't think he's fought in quite some time, but this is a lightweight bout, their main event, non-title fight. Kamal Shalarus, man, what do we got here? He has not fought. Yeah, man, he hasn't fought since he fought Shinya Aoki. He got submitted in the first round by Shinya Aoki. That was man, that was what is that? August 29th, 2014. So about 2.5 years. Been a while, man. So I'm probably not gonna watch this honestly. Maybe if the fight's crazy, I'll check it out. But yeah, man, Ev Ting, Kamal Shalarus, decent main event, but the rest of the card is not too great. But then on also Friday, February 10th, we got LFA 3. Also, really not a good card besides the main event. Actually, we do got Ton Lee in the prelims. Ton Lee, if you remember from the Ultimate Fighter, I think he was on the season with McGregor and Uriah Faber's coaches. Ton Lee, he's a sick fucking striker, man. He's so good at striking, but he just lacks the ground game. He's on the main card of this card, and then the main event is Ryan Spann 9-3 taking on Trevin Giles 8-0. Based on the little research I did, I think Trevin Giles, I think he's got that one by decision, but not a great card there. We got LFA 4 February 17th. Little bit better of a card here. I am gonna definitely be watching this one. In the anything in the prelims worth noting? Not really, or the undercard. But we got in the co-main event, we got Andrea KGB Lee, Invicta fighter. She's going to be fighting for the 125-pound LFA title against Heather Bassett, who I don't know too much about. She's 4-2. Um, so based on the little research I did, I do think Andrea Lee is going to go out there and starch this girl like she did to the last girl over in Invicta. And then the main event here, man, I love this fight. Two 11-1 fighters fighting for the inaugural 145-pound LFA championship. You got Kevin Aguilar taking on Damon the Leech Jackson. That's just Great fight. Easily could be in the UFC. I'm looking forward to that one so much, man. And I think I'm gonna be going with Kevin Aguilar there, honestly. But yeah, that's about it for LFA 4. There is an ACB on the 18th, ACB 53. I'm looking at this card. Don't see anything of note, so nothing really to go over there. Just wanted to mention that there is an ACB if you wanted to tune into that. Then also February 18th, we got Cage Warriors 80, one of my favorite European promotions. Just looking at the undercard here, don't really see anything of note. You got Von Lee on the main and the co-main event, of course. Former UFC fighter, and then the main event is Matt Inman versus Carl Amasu. So Amasu is a guy I really like watching. He's been killing it, hasn't he? So Matt Inman versus Carl Amasu for the welterweight title, Cage Warriors welterweight title. Carl Amasu has been killing it, man. Let's see here. Yeah, dude, he is on. He's on a four-fight win streak, four straight submissions. Yeah. Oh, wow. Never mind. Six-fight win streak with six finishes. Damn, he has been killing it. Carl Amasu is a guy. He's just so skilled, but he did lose a string of fights there in Bellator. Lost to Ben Askren, lost to Paul Bradley, lost to Fernando Gonzalez. He's much better than that, man. I would definitely probably take him in a rematch with Gonzalez and Bradley. Askren, that's a different story. Askren probably kills him. But yeah, man. Man, Carl Amasu has been around for a while, but I'm just rambling here. But yeah, really the only two fights worth mentioning for Cage Warriors 80 is Von Lee in the co-main event taking on this dude Nathaniel Wood, and then you got Matt Inman taking on Carl Amasu in the main event for the 170-pound title. And then lastly, talking here, we got Bellator 173 on February 24th, McGeary versus Fields. Only three fights mentioned on this card so far. Sinead Kavanaugh's on this card, who's a female fighter who's rising the ranks. She could be something, you never know. James Gallagher is a Irish prospect at 145 pounds. He's in the co-main event. He's a guy that a lot of people are excited about. Very very young kid. I believe he's my age. But in the main event, you got Liam McGeary, who's coming off that title loss against Phil Davis. He's taking on Chris Fields. Don't know a whole lot about Chris Fields. He is 11-7. I just is this card in Ireland as well? Yeah, that's why there's so many Irish fighters on this card. But yeah, man. Chris Fields. Yeah, I'm just looking at his record right now. Very unimpressive. I think this is just a showcase for Liam McGeary, man. But that's gonna do it for the regional events, notable regional events in the month of February. Some notable signings in the UFC I want to talk about. So I did talk about David Branch in the last episode, which wasn't official, but it looked pretty damn official. It did get announced a couple days ago that he is officially a free agent. He's going to be testing free agency. No doubt in my mind he's going to be in the UFC. But other guys from World Series of Fighting is just taking a damn hit right now. Marlon Moraes, it's not official yet, but it does look like he's going to be heading to the UFC. Justin Gaethje, not official, but it does look like he's going to be heading to the UFC. Um, I'm not 100% sure if Gaethje is a free agent yet. I know Marlon Moraes. I'm pretty sure he is because in WSOF's next event, they're advertising a new 135-pound champion. So that's it right there. That shows that Marlon Moraes is no longer with the company. He is going to be heading over to the UFC, in my opinion, and he's already calling out Jimmy Rivera. And man, oh fucking man, Marlon Moraes versus Jimmy Rivera would just be an absolute pleasure to watch. That would just be an amazing fight, man. But only other official signee that I wanted to talk about here, this dude Paulo Henrique Costa, who was signed to the UFC a little while back. I did forget to talk about him in my last episode, but this dude is 8-0. Eight first round knockouts. He is the Jungle Fights middleweight champion. He won the title, then defended it once, and he's not beating slouches, man. I'm looking at the records of the guys he's beaten: 3-0, 11-1, 11-2. Some good records, man. This guy's no joke. He was on the Ultimate Fighter Brazil 3. He did win his first fight by submission in the second round, but then he lost to Marcio Alexandre Jr. by split decision. Marcio Alexandre, of course, is a UFC fighter as well. Um, but it does look like this guy has improved since then, and I'm excited about him. He is taking on Gareth McClellan on the Belfort Gastelum card. That is on March 11th, so a little bit over a month from now, and he is going to blast through Gareth McClellan, in my opinion. I'm excited about this guy, man. We'll see what it holds for him. He could just be overhyped, but it's gonna do it for me, man. This was a much shorter episode than last time. Thank you for sticking around through me mumbling or rambling. It, just having a good time doing these, man. I take these a little bit less seriously than my breakdowns. I basically just shoot the shit and bullshit. And if you want to listen to me, appreciate it. But that's gonna do it for me, guys. Fun stuff. Like I said, Wednesday night is going to be my UFC 208 breakdown. That is going to be live on my channel. I'm going to be doing that with the same guys as last time, Rockstar Z and the MMA Prophet. Super excited about it. I do already have a few bets for the UFC 208 card. I believe I'm sitting at 4 at the moment. So looking forward to talking about that, man. And it's gonna do it for me, guys. I'm gonna get the hell out of here. I got a busy day ahead of me. I am recording this like super early in the morning, but that's gonna do it for me. Enjoy the fights this weekend. We got awesome pay-per-view. We got Anderson Silva, Derek Brunson, Jermaine Demirandamy, and Holly Holm. But yeah, I'm gonna get out of here. I keep talking, so see you guys.